Vincent Kompany's Bayern plays an exciting brand of football that attacks through tiny gaps in opposition block with sharply knitted through balls executed using trained patterns such as third man movement, up back through combination, positional rotations, center crowding, and much more. The players embrace the chaos in the tightest spaces with fluid movements and risky passes, often catching opposition defenses off guard. It's all good to see Bayern in their flow state, but the whole picture is not what you expect, as they are punished for making the game complicated yet entertaining. As teams sit in their half against Bayern, they initiate the attacks in the middle third using 3-1 base as Kimmich, the right center midfielder, often drops to form a back three, while Pavlovic mostly stays in the middle. This allows the right back Guerrera to move up, and Bayern essentially equips 6 different lanes higher up the pitch with a major focus on half space player occupation. The central occupation keeps the opposition compact, as all teams do, and Bayern is only afforded space on the flanks. Let's decode one of the attacking patterns. The opposition is defending in a standard 4-4-2, and Bayern created the numerical superiority against front 2 with their auxiliary back 3. As the defensive block is shifted, an attacking overload is created with half space and wing occupation. The wide half space is the targeted area, as it's not protected by the central pivots, and the fullback has to jump upon it, leaving his position free for the wide runner, who is picked by the third man pattern. The attack is well progressed with box occupation, but fails to score. The consistent application of these patterns aren't easy, as it requires opposition to get manipulated, which may sometimes backfire if the opposition block recognizes these pattern movements and decides to maintain their shape. So we should analyze whether Bayern has the right intelligence to manipulate the blocks. The fluidity in positions is Bayern's go-to tool for block manipulation. The striker drops, the winger goes high. The attacking mid often compensates for the striker's absence, and the far side winger invades with the fullback, becoming the wide outline. The extra dynamic is added by the movement of the ball side fullback, who creates the additional option in the middle. This extra man confuses the opponent, manipulating their press. Now we know the basic groundwork for their attacks. Let's get into the details. In this sequence, second striker drops to receive in the front of the midfield line, creating that triangle. Now Kimmich is out of the triangle and he is free, as Mudley's movement has pushed the block deep. This lets Kimmich exploit the space in front of the block, which is equipped by Pavlovic, but the attack stalled as there was no one to exploit the space. The pathway to space generation was excellent, but the final execution failed due to a lack of optimal space exploitation, and Bayern had to force an opening now as the defense got settled, closing the gap. Here we have a right winger on the flanks and right back inverting to pin the fullback inside. As he gets the ball, two progressive options are available: to carry to space or play a combination. He dribbled inside while the right back moved to his position, dragging his marker wide to create space for Mudley's run. So they have made the final third entry by sucking the whole block towards the ball, and the idea is to exploit the far side now. But the width offered by the far side player isn't safe enough to ping a ball, and it got intercepted. If the opposition decided to stay in shape, let the ball carry time and space, Bayern has the quality to go over the top. This makes their final third entry quick and direct. Thereafter, they prefer to create chaos by daring dribbles to manipulate defense and create space. The ball is switched to stretch the defense, and this creates the gap for clever reverse passes for the far side wingers run. See how fluid the positions are. The thing is, these kinds of attacks requires constant movements from the players, and it won't produce anything other than some good looking passes if the defense is well drilled to sit in a low block. It's simply because the spaces are too small and easy to defend, and it requires something more to break such good low blocks. One thing that was particularly impressive was Bayern's overall width at times. Understandably, they prefer central overloads with both wide players inverting. But if the opposition decides to stay more central to defend such a situation, they are out of options rather than to go over the head. The idea is pretty clear. It's just block manipulation tactics being tried out by constant rotations. Again, the problem is whether these attempts are far too achievable, as one might doubt Mudley's ability to score from those kinds of ball compared to Haaland in that position. The tactics work well till the last moment, but the final execution lies within the individual, which often fails with this positionless system. This one is a yet more complicated but entertaining sequence. Left winger has the ball and opposition is cool with a deep backline. Now the space is in front of the backline, so two players, the inverted right back Davies and Muller, are equipping it. Third man is played and the double occupation works with Davis playing Muller. They have already successfully executed such a complex pattern and should capitalize on the success moment to throw the final punch in a shot at goal. But Muller tried yet another short pass which was defended. It might be an excellent team play goal if the pass was converted, but certain moments require much simpler ideas. A quick body feint to curve one on the second post was an option for Muller, as knitting a pass in such a space requires good technique and moreover the receiver should be ready, which is a team tactic involving a group of individuals rather than a single player. Things would have been much simpler if Muller, the individual, decided to convert the result of the team tactic, which is the combination passing they did earlier, to a shot. Let me stress that this combination plays requires great understanding between players and is sometimes complex. This particular situation in a tight space demands easier ideas, and a shot at the goal was relatively easier at the moment. Seconds later, we could see Olise attempting a shot, which was a forced one as he had to do something in the box. So the point is, the conversion of these complex combinations requires great decision making from players at the right moment. The combination play can end up as a goal if it's not made too complicated. As Bayern win the ball from a turnover using the aggressive position of centre back, they have a well-equipped front line with 5 different lanes covered. The fluidity opens gaps as we saw earlier. Kane is equipping the space and the invader right winger Olise recognized another free space for a combination play. The striker's wide movement created that central gap and Müller equipped it, asking for a short combination. But this time, Olise kept it simple by application of his individual skill rather than relying on someone else to do something, and it ended up in the goal. I think Kompany should simplify their game a bit by making his intended central combination game much more consistently executable. The idea of moving striker, keeping the creative winger inside to find highly spatial aware players such as Müller in the middle is Kompany's version of Bayern. Kimmich threading passes for invader right back, attack in the box, Müller's constant movements offering penetrative options in the box. The freedom Davis has to come deep and create something, or the crazy step overs he does in the final third is entertaining to watch. But it won't guarantee results, and Kompany may have to develop a plan B if his complicated football fails in big games.